All right, y'all, welcome back to Commodore Arms channel. Okay, so today we're checking out the RTS Tactical RESES Ballistic plate. Now, I'm pretty excited to test this one out because we haven't tested out a steel plate on the channel just yet. And this is a level 3 plus plate, which is even like more exciting. So level 3 plus basically means that it's rated through pistol calibers up till some special rifle calibers. So that'll be your 5.56 green tip. It'll be your 7.62 NATO round, your 7.62 by 39 with like some steel core as well. So it's a pretty strong rating. And for a steel plate that's like this narrow, I'm pretty excited. And again, this is a RESES plate. So basically what they have on here is their own proprietary coating. Now, before I talk about why it's important to have a coating like this on a steel plate, we'll go over the pros and cons of actually having a steel plate versus like a ceramic plate, which is pretty much the competition for this type of plate. So ceramic plates are great, but again, they're ceramic, so they're definitely more prone to getting damaged. Like if I smacked my plate carrier against something too hard, made me cringe a little bit when I had like a ceramic plate in my plate carrier. And at the same time, if I had a ceramic plate and I just dropped it like this, especially on like the edge, yeah, I'm gonna wanna make sure that that thing's not cracked because there's a good chance that it's probably gonna get cracked. Even with all the different coatings and the padding they have around ceramic plates, yeah, it still makes you a little bit uneasy when you hit it against something too hard. Now, at the same time, the shelf life is fantastic on steel plates. Ceramic plates, they'll usually be fine. I mean, you can take like an old military sappy plate and it'll still work pretty well. But again, like as far as like environmental considerations or even when exposed to certain chemicals, like ceramic plates don't hold up as well. Now it's steel, from what I've seen from all the studies that I've seen, they're usually better when it comes to like multiple round impacts. Now with an ESAPI plate, there's videos on there online on YouTube where, you know, they'll shoot like multiple rounds into a ceramic sappy plate. Even in my videos, when we had like an LA police gear ceramic plate, we were hitting it with a lot of rounds.
It just shreds it, dude.
Damn.
Oh.
Oh, is that it? Yeah,
so you got a little bit of the bullet coming through.
But when it comes to steel, if it's not penetrating, even if it hits like generally the same area, you're not gonna have like any disbursement of the steel like you would have with a ceramic plate, because you have like a bunch of different layers in a ceramic plate. And once some of those parts start chipping away, then yeah, those areas are definitely more prone to, you know, having a penetration, as opposed to something like this. Again, when it's rated for certain rounds, like if you have rounds even hitting in the same spot, from what I've seen, it usually holds up a little bit better. But now going more towards into the cons, it's steel, so they're generally heavier. So as opposed to a sappy plate weighing about 5.5 pounds, these will usually be around 7 to 8 pounds. So we're actually gonna weigh it and see kind of how it compares with some of the other plates that I have. All right, so we're gonna see how heavy the plate actually is. So of course, I'll get the control group and I'll weigh myself first. All right, so 183.4, pick up the plate. So 183.4, so it is exactly 7 pounds, which for a steel plate, not bad at all. But yeah, they're generally a little bit heavier. At the same time, again, it is steel. So if you have steel against your body and you have a bullet hit it, you're still gonna feel a lot of that energy transfer going into your body. Ceramic plates, especially again with the layers, they're usually pretty good at taking away some of that kinetic energy. Now, what a lot of people do to kind of mitigate that is they'll have something called like a trauma pad, or basically like a padding that will go behind this, just so if it does get an impact, some of that energy transfer is kind of absorbed in that padding. Now, the biggest thing with steel plates is going to be, again, the fragmentation of the bullet itself, because it is steel. I mean, people shoot steel targets, and yeah, if you see like slow-mo, you see steel, you see like all the bullet fragments, all those lead and the jacket fragments just flying all over the place. So of course, if I have a plate that's right here and, you know, a round hits it, there's going to be some fragments going somewhere. It's not necessarily going to, with a traditional plate, it's not necessarily going to like absorb any of that, and it might not just like hit and fall down like you see sometimes. You're going to get some metal spalling coming up, and of course you don't necessarily want any of that going towards your neck, especially when you have like all this important, you know, blood carrying stuff right here. At the same time, if you're holding a weapon, you don't want any of that going into your arms, hitting an artery. Yeah, so there's a lot of considerations with that, which is definitely where this particular type of coating comes in. Now, this is a proprietary coating. I think it's patent pending right now, but from what I've seen, it's pretty freaking effective at stopping that spalling. So basically what the RESES technology is supposed to do is catch that spall. So kind of like you would see with Kevlar, how it kind of catches some of the bullet and the fragment. It's meant to do the same thing, and it also has a kind of the coating over that to prevent that RESES technology, that material, from just getting like completely shredded once it actually gets hit. So yeah, of course, we're going to put it through its paces. So we have a few different calibers we're going to test on this. So we're going to start with some pistol calibers. We're going to use a 5.7 as well, which would be kind of interesting. And then of course we're going to go into the 5.56, the 7.62, and then of course we'll hit it with some green tip as well, because you kind of have to, especially since it is rated for 3+. So I'm pretty excited. Again, it's the first steel plate that I've tested. We're gonna try and put it in a box and see if we can, identify any spall coming off of the plate once we actually hit it. And that'll give us a good indication if that RESES technology, that material, is actually doing its job. Oh, and before we go to the range, it's worth noting, I'm not sure if we're gonna get this in focus, but yeah, you can kind of see that, that American flag there. Maybe it's not really in focus, but yeah, just take my word for it, it's an American flag. So it's made in the USA, which is pretty fantastic. I mean, it's always nice to be able to support companies that are making stuff in the US. It makes it a little bit easier to convince myself to purchase that product, knowing that it's kind of, supporting us and supporting our war fighters and supporting the economy, because yeah, that's always kind of cool, pretty important too. But yeah, let's go ahead and go to the range. I know you guys are definitely excited to see me put this thing through its paces, and I'm probably more excited than you, to be honest. So let's do it. All right, y'all, so we're out at the range and we have the RTS Tactical RESES plate set up over there. We got a GoPro angle as well, so we can kind of see some of those impacts. But yeah, so we're gonna be using a 9mm. We're gonna start off with a 9mm. I was gonna do a 22, but it's really not gonna be anything. It's not gonna be too spectacular. So we're gonna start off with a 9mm. From there, we're gonna go to a 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. I know it's not going to penetrate, but I still want to kind of see what kind of effects we can get out of that. And then from there, we're going to move to the 5.7 round, and then we'll do a 5.56, a 7.62, and then we'll finish off with some 5.56 green tip. So yeah, I'm excited to test it out. It should be fun. So let's do it. All right, starting off with 9mm from a Glock 43X. Okay, see how it did. Okay, this is interesting. This is pretty impressive. I mean, right off the bat, I can't really see where the impact was. Okay, so we got it here. I can see it definitely has a little bit of bulging in the front because, again, it's kind of catching everything there. So you can see when you depress it, there's some loose space behind it. No back face deformation, as we kind of expect with this type of round. But yeah, that coating is putting in the work. Again, you can see kind of everything there, but as far as spall, yeah, there's nothing so far. And I mean, yeah, you can kind of see that here, like nothing was leaving. That's pretty freaking solid. Okay, let's move it up pretty quickly to that 500 Magnum. Yeah, you usually don't see the 500 Magnum coming out for tests like this, and probably because it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but still gonna be fun. Okay, man, it's always so hard not to anticipate that shot. Let's see how it did. Oh, wow, okay. That definitely, that made a freaking, that made a good bulge there. Okay, so again, I'm kind of feeling the coating. Again, it's getting kind of squishier here, but what the heck? Damn, okay, so we're starting to see what it kind of looks like in there. That's a pretty freaking clean hole though, not gonna lie. All right, so as far as back face deformation, we are not getting anything so far, but yeah, that coating's starting to feel it. That's a lot of junk it had to catch, and it did a pretty good job. Okay, so let's check, let's see, any spall. Nothing so far. It's a clean box, nice. Okay, now we really start to get spicy with the P90 and the 5.7 round. So let's see how it does. I think we're gonna get a little bit of back face deformation, but I don't think it'll penetrate, but let's see. Okay, look like took it pretty good. Let's go see the damage. Okay, I can already see. Okay, so let's see where that impact was.
Honestly, hard to tell, especially now that this is already bulging, but no back face deformation at all. Let's see where we can find that entry. I mean, it definitely hit it. Maybe the GoPro captured it a little bit better, but But the tricky thing is it's such a small round. So I was aiming for right here. I think that is our impact right there. So yeah, it is a very, very small round, but it should have hit right around this area, and we're not getting anything. It's such a small round, especially compared to the freaking mound that this 500 Magnum did. Yeah, it probably just ate that pretty good. And as you can probably imagine, yeah, there's no spalling coming off of that either. So good to see. All right, now moving on to a 7.62 out of an Arsenal SAM 7K. So not as much muzzle velocity, but a big part of these tests is style, and this thing definitely brings it. All right, let's see how it does. Oh yeah, that had some power behind it. Oh man, I felt that, and that's pretty freaking close, so let's check it out. Okay, so we have our entry right here, and again, you can see it's definitely catching a lot of that junk. As far as back face deformation, again, there's none of it. Nothing so far. Nothing is even getting close to penetrating, it seems, which is awesome. And again, like, that's a 7.62 right there. This is a 500 Magnum. And you can see that coating is still holding together very, very strong. Okay, so let's check for spall. Okay, so we do have a little bit of spall right here coming out the side. So yeah, it kind of got pushed all to the left. You can kind of see with some of the scorch marks and some of those small holes. Okay, so let's see, if we were actually wearing this plate, we'd probably end up getting maybe something, feeling something in like our left arm. But again, I'd rather take a little bit of that. Now, it wouldn't necessarily do a whole lot of damage, but again, it would definitely make things spicier as you're trying to shoot back. Okay, so that is moving a lot slower. I didn't expect to see this spall, but it's not too bad. So let's see. Again, we're already pushing this coating like to its limits, I think, with all the bulging we're starting to get, and again, something like the entry we had there. But yeah, let's move to some of the faster moving rounds. So the 223 and then that 5.56 green tip. Again, that's going to be I think we're going to see some back face deformation, but I definitely don't think we're going to see any penetration. Hopefully, I mean, it's rated for that, so yeah, let's see. All right, so we got a standard 223 round coming out of a 10.5 inch barrel for this POF P415. So let's see how it does. Again, not as much muzzle velocity, but it's still a 223. It's moving pretty quick. Okay, so it didn't look like it had too much power, but again, it is such a small bullet going so fast. I don't think it penetrated just by how much it did move it, but let's go ahead and see. Okay, so we were aiming a little bit lower there. So let's see. Yep, okay, so again, you can barely see the impact, but it's right there in the lower right-hand portion, and no deformation going on yet. All right. Okay, let's hit it with some green tip. I mean, none of this has been too spectacular except for that 500 Magnum. That's just like cool to see, but it really, that was really pushing the coating like right from the start. So man, it's going to be interesting. So as far as spalling, there's nothing. So I was aiming a little bit lower, but I'm not seeing anything from the 223. So that's kind of good. Maybe that 7.62 just hit it at like the right angle. All right, so yeah, let's hit it with some green tip. It's gonna be fun. Okay, here we go with that 5.56 green tip. So again, it's a good round. The Marine Corps has been relying on it for a very long time to kill people without body armor. But again, if they did have body armor, they'd probably be concerned about getting shot by this round. So let's go ahead and see how the plate does. Oh yeah, that hit it with some gusto. Let's see. Okay, so we hit that one high right. Oh, okay, so I'm seeing something already. So you can kind of see here, something tore up that part, and that was not where the bullet actually went in, so we can see the impact. Oh, that's kind of cool. it's pretty toasty in there. I can kind of feel it. So yeah, I'm feeling some junk. Again, the coating is catching it pretty freaking well, but we did have something kind of shooting out right there. As far as penetration, we have none, and we don't even have like any back face deformation, which is freaking impressive. But I did notice this like right away. That is that's some pretty significant spall. I mean, with a hole like that, again, you don't want a hole like that anywhere in this area, which is kind of where that would end up going, because you know there's like big things called arteries in your arm, so that wouldn't be ideal. But yeah, that's kind of what we're working with, which is, again, not too bad. I mean, with all the hits that this plate has taken, and there's like no back face deformation, that steel is putting in some work. And again, you can kind of see all that bulging in front, but this coating is holding up super well. Like, as opposed to the plate just getting hit and just blowing out all of this coating, it is catching that so freaking well. I mean, with all the rounds we hit it with, we got like a little bit of jacket in there actually. With everything that we hit it with, and for there to only be like maybe this kind of exit, I'm not even going to consider this, because that was like basically a hollow point 500 Magnum. But yeah, for there to just be like this minimal spalling, I mean, again, if you're wearing just steel, there'd be a lot more than that. So this coating, man, it's impressive how well it's staying together. Again, you can push on it and stuff and kind of feel some of the junk underneath, which is pretty cool. It's holding so strong. So yeah, that's pretty freaking impressive stuff. So with that being said, I would feel pretty comfortable rocking this plate if it had to get hit by some rifle rounds. I mean, I wouldn't be comfortable if I was getting hit by rifle rounds, but you know what I mean. I would feel protected at least, which is good. I mean, again, there's a bunch of different uses for why people get plates, and for you to have that protection available to you, especially at the price point, is just awesome. Okay, so we will close out the video from here. Yeah, so what do I think about the plate? It performed very, very well, and I'm super excited to see that. Again, for this type of body armor to be available to, you know, Americans at this price point, and again, this durability, it's awesome. Again, like, just throwing this in all the plate carriers I have, just throwing this wherever you kind of want some ballistic protection, it's gonna be stopping rifle rounds, which is pretty freaking incredible, especially like a 5.56. That thing has some heat. It's moving pretty freaking fast. But I mean, what more can you say? It's a level 3+ plate. It did what it was supposed to do, and it did it very, very well, to the point where you can get multiple impacts and you would still be fine. We kind of tested that here. Again, testing the coating pretty early on, putting a lot of junk in there with that 500 Magnum and kind of loosening it up a bit. But again, it still performed very, very solid. So yeah, RTS Tactical doing some great stuff. Of course, I will link it down in the video description so you guys can go check out their website, check out the plate for yourself, and definitely consider buying it, because it's a pretty solid product. And again, make sure I can show Old Glory again. But yeah, I've had some Chinese plates that performed pretty well. But again, like, it feels a lot better getting something that supports, you know, Americans, supports American business. So definitely go and check out their product. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys appreciated it. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to let me know. But that is it for this video. I will see y'all in the next one.